The Creative Current. I'm your host, Elise Raffa, and today we're sitting and interviewing artists of the Martin Artisans Guild in the beautiful Palm Room Gallery in Harbor Bay Plaza. I'm super thrilled to introduce our first guest, Michaelann Bellerjeau, who is known for her nature-inspired paintings that are super vibrant and gorgeous. And thank you, Michaelann, for being here. And
Thanks for having me.
Excited to get to know you more. And so to start off, I just wanted to get an idea of how you got started in fine art. You know, I noticed that you started as a printmaker, and I'm curious how you then went into using oil now as your primary medium.
I always loved to draw and paint, and then when I went to school, this huge world of printmaking opened up. I started at Montclair. It was a state college then, university, and their printmaking department was amazing. And I liked the real graphical qualities of printmaking. I also liked the ability to just get into the mix of the plates and the chemicals and things like that and rolling it out. It just appealed to me. But later, not having that ability to get equipment and get access, I turned back to what I started with, which was acrylics. And then eventually, I just went into oil painting, because oil painting has this luster to it, a richness, and it's frustrating for a lot of people, and it smells. So a lot of people can't stand it, but I just found it very wonderful to work with, especially for my subjects.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I know it's time consuming too with oils because it takes longer to dry, right?
It's amazing. These days, oils aren't just oils anymore. Like basically with paint, you're painting with dirt. It's some kind of a mineral or something like that. But nowadays, they put resins in them that may help them to dry a little bit. They also help them to endure. Like, you know, when you go into museums and you see the cracking, that doesn't happen as much anymore if you do the right process with the paint. So it gives the paintings more endurance, more longevity. They keep their colors a lot longer. You know, you don't have to see them getting like black on the outside or yellow. And they dry a lot faster. So, yeah, I can have a painting dry within a week and then start another layer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So my next question, because I have so many good questions. Your work captures mood and light so beautifully, and I wanted to get an idea of what draws you specifically to these elements for your work.
That just is coming from inside. I just love on a day, like if you're out in nature and you see a sparkle on the water, or you see a bird that's backlit, that to me is a moment. Because, you know, you look away and look back, it's not the same. The light moves, the sun moves, the conditions move, clouds come. And that beauty of the movement of nature never being the same, but always being consistent, appeals to me. And so I try to capture with the light in my subjects that moment right before it goes away, so that someone can say in their mind's eye, oh gosh, I remember going with my grandfather fishing and the water looked just like that. I can almost smell it. Or you can hear the water, you know. So that's why I am drawn to that. Now, getting it to work is a little bit harder because light is from an outside source, and with paint, you're adding light with, you know, a very thick opaque material, so it is a little tricky, but I have a great time and people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. And so as you can also see, the environmental themes are a strong focus currently in your work. And how do you weave conservation into your art? Because I know you're a big conservationist too.
It absolutely. When I started to paint and draw, I just naturally went to those subjects. I love painting outside in plein air. I love, you know, just being in the environment. But when you're painting outside, of course, the light changes really quickly and you have, you know, people stop and talk to you, which I love, but, you know, it detracts a little bit from the environment. But I just love it so much. And when we moved here in 2014, we came at just the point where the biggest toxic runoff had come from Okeechobee, and really literally there were green waves just coming up on the beach, and the river was decimated. And coming here and appreciating what we were moving into, it just made me feel like I could use my paintings to capture something that we have the potential of losing.
Yeah.
And really seriously, if we don't take care of what we have, and plenty of organizations like Florida Oceanographic have worked very hard, Captains for Clean Water, very hard litigating. But I feel like if I could capture something that someone could see, it will bring that appreciation forward to them. And if they want to have it in their home or their business or wherever they are, they can also have it to appreciate for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And the good news is that restoration is working, and these are just going to be good images of what beauty we can enjoy in this Martin County area.
Yeah.
So it's very close to my heart.
Yeah.
I love to capture it.
So want to, expand on that, then how do you think, art overall helps with bringing awareness, the importance of art and awareness in that going together?
That's a great question, because it has been historically a really fantastic way to get a message. And whether it be in the past with wars or political situations or movements of a lot of different kinds, I find that when someone sees an image and it touches them, and it will bring the emotion to whatever the message is. And so you can have a message like conservation, which someone could just talk about and understand. But if you see something that's going to spark an emotion in them, or a memory, or some kind of feeling of, oh, we're going to lose this, then I think that it's so much more effective. And just having it out there. Also, a lot of people don't get to go out into nature these days.
That is so true.
I mean, especially, unfortunately, our children. So if you can put it in front of them and show them what's out there. And we have amazing state parks in Florida. So there's no reason for them, and they also have easy access too. There's no reason for them to not enjoy it, but they have to be inspired to go. Mm-hmm. And so that's what my subject just keeps going back to again and again.
Yeah.
Whether it's birds or it's sunrises or it's the beach, or I even do some portraits of animals too. Mm-hmm. And that's to keep that memory for someone. Unfortunately, some of the animals I do are post, they've passed, but then the owner always has that memory.
Aww. So out of curiosity, because you mentioned, all the great parks that we have, do you have a specific one that you like to paint or do plein air or certain locations here in Martin County?
Jonathan Dickinson Park is just fantastic. We're very fortunate here to have so many, and they're so well cared for. My husband and I have kayaks, and he fishes and I photograph. And we were down in Bahia State Park this summer, and that was very cool. I hadn't been there before.
Yeah.
I mean, an enormous, it was before I got my GoPro, an enormous sea turtle went under me. And if I had just, I almost stuck my phone in the water. I don't care, I just want to capture this. But it's just such a resource. And I do capture a lot of photographs and work from photos as well. So generally, I will go out and do a sketch somewhere and then take a lot of photos and then do it in the studio at home, a final version.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I wanted to also get into a little bit more about your process of creating a new piece and how you pick your subjects and the techniques for our viewers to learn.
Well, it's interesting for people to know, because every artist has a different approach. My approach has evolved over the years, because I started out when I went to school, everything was abstract expressionism, and very much not a realistic kind of a subject. I gravitated more towards that when I was teaching kids in high school. I taught homeschoolers. Their moms didn't want their kitchens messed up, so they brought them to me, and I taught them. And the kids wanted to learn to draw. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to teach a kid how to draw, I'm going to have to learn myself really well. So I went back and found a classical school and learned, and their techniques were the same that has been used throughout history. You start out with a thumbnail, and then you go on to a sketch, and then you do maybe a color sketch, and then you do a larger version. And going out into the environment and capturing it captures the color so much better than a photograph. Photographs flatten everything, and all the darks are the same color. And so I find by using all of these together, it slows my process down a lot, but the end result is a much better version of what someone would really naturally see out in nature, really.
Okay.
So it's a little bit tedious. I wish I could just throw paint at a canvas, but it's just the way that my temperament is, and I find it also ties into my message with conservation. So.
Right, right. Oh, I love that. So I also, one of my questions, you had a lot of success in juried exhibits, and I wanted to get an idea of how those experiences so far shaped your journey.
It's always, juried exhibits are fun because if you do get noticed, it kind of gives you affirmation. I always find that I have won awards, and I have won awards, and I just really enjoy the affirmation, but that's not mainly why I'm doing it. And also, when you have a judge come and they're faced with an entire show of all kinds of different artwork, they're going to have different bents and leanings in their own preferences. So I don't let it affect me negatively. I just enjoy it when I get an award, and I'm happy for other artists. I'm very thrilled when I'm and privileged just to be around so many good artists in this area.
Yeah, no, and there's a plethora, and that's the beauty too of the Martin Artisans Guild is just, I know too from art school, just the inspiration to be around fellow artists. So it's so nice to have that here in this community where, you have this great space and you can work together and show together and be inspired by one another. So
that's very true.
That's
And
really cool.
Martin Artisans Guild has in particular given me a fantastic group of people to grow with, support one another. We're in our studios by ourselves a lot. So we're either going to go crazy or we're going to have someone around us to say, hey, get it together, talk, say a sentence, after being alone for a week, say a sentence. So anyway, the Guild has offered so many friendships and so much support. We show together, we have critiques of our work together, and it's very, very rich. In fact, all of Martin County, I noticed when we got here, we were stunned, first of all, by the beauty of the area. And my husband fishes, has just had a blast doing that in his kayak. And then the beauty of the area as far as cultural access is concerned. And there's so much you can do here. So it's not just the Guild. There's the Courthouse Cultural Center and Martin Arts and so many little galleries. I'm in a gallery downtown called Rare Earth Gallery. And there's just so many opportunities. And you meet another artist and they teach you something just by talking about things. And I love it. It's such a wonderful place to live for that reason.
Yeah. Are you currently exploring any new themes or trying out different mediums? What are we working on right now?
I am. I found that what I like to do is I like to show a subject that's recognizable, but also has a certain amount of abstractness within the brush work. And that can be done with brush strokes. It can be done with other tools. I use all kinds of tools. I use scratching tools, scraping tools, sanding tools to create a little bit of texture. And so I took several workshops recently from contemporary painters, and they kind of stretched me. I try to pick a workshop that's somebody who does something totally different than what I do. And I kind of started doing these swimming pool paintings that still is the light. It still captures the light and the glow, but it's still water, which I'm just always drawn to. The reflective qualities are a challenge, and they're always beautiful and soothing to look at.
And changing, to your point with the capturing that moment in time.
So I have this new pool series that I've done, and I continue to explore that, build up the texture, break it down. I'm working on kind of skewing the perspective a little bit so that it's a little bit unrealistic. It like kind of stretches what you're looking at. You kind of go, well, that's a pool, but wow, it's kind of skewing, and that adds a different quality that's more contemporary, and I'm really enjoying doing.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like surreal, you know, taking an everyday
A little bit.
object and making it fantastic. You know,
Yeah.
I love taking pictures and slow motion videos of the pool and the water and the reflection. It's poetry in motion. In my
It is,
opinion.
and it's also very nostalgic. Like when you look at a pool, you can think of all the times that you've been in a pool as a kid and everything. And I think that brings that memory back to spark something there, especially my night pool scenes. Someone said to me one time, they're like, I think they're kind of sensuous. I'm like, well, that's something that's popped up that I didn't know was in there.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting, but I think that the pool just kind of brings that nostalgia
Yeah.
of a nighttime swim, and your mom's like, get out of the water.
Yeah.
You're a prune.
So I would love to know what advice you have, words of wisdom for, you know, artists that are looking to start out here in our community and abroad, but any words of wisdom?
The best advice I could give is find people whose work you really love and study under them. There is so much access online now to workshops. There's no reason that you can't pick up any workshop that you want practically. Some of them are free if you go to YouTube. But there are plenty of artists that teach online or go in person. And in between workshops, practice what you've heard from them. Even though it might not be your style or it might be a break from what you usually do it. Make yourself do it and really kind of squeeze what you can and milk that workshop. Later, as you start to get confident in what you do, I think you should do workshops that stretch you, so somebody different. And even locally, there are a number of workshops around that you can do. I'm actually thinking of starting to teach too, because I've had requests. And so, just contact an artist that you admire and say, do you teach? Where can I learn? Can I come to your studio and just take a one-on-one or anything? But the important thing is you have to paint or draw or whatever your craft is. You have to do it in order to get proficient. Otherwise, everything that you like, forgot the word. Everything that you accomplished will just kind of wane if you don't keep at it.
Yeah,
So-
that practice makes perfect, certainly. And
It does, and that's something too. A lot of people are very frustrated when they first start because it's not perfect. It's not what they had in mind. But if you compare it to anything, like if you went to a gym, after one workout, you're not going to expect to have the 100% body that you envision that you could have, or health, or whatever you're looking for. You have to keep at it, and it's a discipline. And whether you like what you did that day or not, just go back the next day, wipe the slate clean, and go at it again. But there's a lot of help in this county for people who want to learn art.
oh, that's great. I know. We say all of this, and it reminds me I need to get back into
You do.
my art, but
You do.
We'll get there. And then finally, I just want to ask, how is living here in Martin County, coming from Atlanta, how has that influenced how you create?
That's a great question, because when we lived in North Georgia, my husband was like, wow. He goes, well, just go out and paint. I'm like, if I paint another barn, if I paint another horse, if I paint another cow, and anything green, I am going to go crazy, because my thing is blue. It's a blue sky, it's a blue water scene, and I just kind of gravitate. Of course, there's greens everywhere, but Florida's just the color temp and everything that I really love. And I just enjoy it so much more since we've gotten here. You can get out in nature more. Like Georgia has a lot of open area, but frankly, it's kind of hard to get there. And it's really nice to be on a beach painting.
Yeah, who doesn't love
Can
that?
beat that, right?
Sunrise, sunset, ocean. Oh yeah, so no, we're very fortunate to live in such a beautiful place.
Absolutely.
And it is inspiring.
Don't tell anyone.
Well, I appreciate it so much, you coming here to talk to me and talk to our viewers, and that concludes our first episode of The Creative Current. We look forward to seeing you next time. Again, I'm your host, Elise Raffa, and see you next time.